So, um, we'll get a good picture. Yeah. The first one, it's a conference about the other, and I'd like to ask you if you could define what the other is.
The other is that which we feel disharmonically separate from.
And why is it relevant to talk about engaging the other?
Because it's the fragmentation of humanity that is leading to the destruction of the planet and humanity. And when we engage the other, we begin to restore harmony and unity and end that fragmentation.
Did you get a personal encounter where you understood that better?
I've spent my whole life feeling separate from everybody and striving to understand how to become integrated without losing sense of identity. And somehow, just in the years that I've been working in conflict resolution and mediation and so forth, that I've seen that it is in fact possible to create unity without losing identity. And that's the battle that we all fight. You know, that's what the egos are all about, and that's what the sense of fragmentation and separatism and superiority is all about, is somehow we want to have identity, and in identity we think we have to be separate. And so the idea is how do we maintain the integrity of identity and yet find the unity of harmony and what's the word that I want? It's like the weaving of a tapestry, that all the threads keep their color and keep their integrity as a thread, and because of that, this beautiful pattern is formed. And that if we recognize that, and we recognize that in fact we are all the tapestry, and we are all this beautiful picture, this resonant image of creation, when we get that, then a whole lot of the suffering, the unnecessary suffering, will end.
Is there a way to learn that?
Is there a way to learn that?
Yeah.
I think it's something that has to happen from within, and it has to do with knowing oneself and knowing the unity of oneself. And when you recognize the unity of oneself, then you recognize where you fit in the unity of all things. So a lot of it has to do with going inside, and there isn't a skill to that process. It's a sense of seeing the picture and understanding the whole picture and where we fit in it, and the fact that everybody else fits in it too, and it's all the same picture.
Yeah, did this conference enrich you in any way regarding that question?
In more ways than I could describe, yeah. And in none of the ways that I expected, perhaps. But then I didn't really have particular expectations. But you know, you go to a workshop and you may be expected to go a certain way or to have a certain kind of degree of connection or interaction, and that doesn't happen. But if you keep your eyes and your heart open, something does. You know, and there was one, for example, where I just wasn't following the conversation at all. And I happened to look down at this piece of paper that I had picked up on one of the tables on the way in, and on the piece of paper, it was talking about dialogue, and it said, if you say nothing else, ask this question: what do you need me to understand? When you ask that question, everything else opens up. And had I not been sitting in that workshop where I didn't feel part of the flow of conversation, I wouldn't have looked down at the piece of paper, and I might not have seen that. And if I had, it wouldn't have been while I was here. And that piece of information has already contributed to the quality of my experience interacting with other people. Just that thought: what do you need me to understand? Wow. So that's sort of how, if you just pay attention to the divine order of everything, then even when the moment you didn't expect to happen in the conference, when it doesn't happen the way you expected it to, there's still the divine order happens. And that's part of what makes this conference special, is that there's just divine order everywhere. And yes, it's everywhere in life, but there's a consciousness here that everybody is looking for. What's the magic? Where's the magic? It's here. It's in my heart, it's in your heart, it's in that piece of paper, it's in the speakers, and we're all looking for it, and so it's manifesting everywhere. And that's part of the magic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.